Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're going to completely transform how you look at your own mental energy. We're moving away from that awful, drained feeling you get at the end of the day, and we're turning you into an unshakable fortress. How? By learning to ruthlessly protect your attention. I'm literally so excited to share this with you, because once you see these psychological dynamics at play, you cannot unsee them. It's going to totally change how you interact with the world.
All right, think about this for a second. Have you ever had one of those moments? You're at a family gathering, maybe a big holiday dinner, and a relative drops this snide, passive-aggressive comment right in front of everyone, and they just smile, right? Like it's no big deal. But then, hours later, the party's long over, you're lying in bed, and you are staring at the ceiling, just replaying the whole thing, wondering, what if I had said this, or why would they even say that? You're getting mad all over again. And the absolute tragic irony of the whole situation? They are fast asleep. They're sleeping perfectly peacefully while they have essentially hijacked your brain for the entire night.
Well, this brilliantly illustrates a really fundamental truth about human psychology. As Machiavelli famously implied, attention is power. Whoever controls your focus, they control your mood. We usually think of manipulation as, someone physically controlling us or forcing our hand. But the really dangerous stuff, that's invisible emotional control. It's getting inside your head without ever laying a finger on you. If you're reacting every single time someone pokes at you, guess what? They are controlling your mood.
Okay, so let's jump right into this blueprint for peace. Today, we're covering 4 key areas. First, the currency of power. Second, identifying attention vampires. Third, the Machiavellian shield. And finally, guarding your gold. Let's get into it.
Part 1. The currency of power. We really need to start treating our focus like it's the absolute last bottle of water in the desert.
Because here's the thing, true power, it's not about being the loudest person in the room. It's actually about knowing exactly where your mental energy should and shouldn't go. Take mental captivity, for example. This happens when your body is resting. Maybe you're just chilling on the couch. But your mind? It is fighting invisible battles. You're arguing with imaginary versions of people or reliving some completely random embarrassment from 5 years ago. Sound familiar? When this happens, you basically become an emotional prisoner, where your inner peace relies entirely on the moods of other people. A stable mind simply shouldn't collapse just because another human being decides to be in a bad mood.
Moving on to Part 2, identifying attention vampires. These are the invisible enemies that are quietly draining your energy.
So right off the bat, you have to realize that not everyone deserves equal emotional access to you. There are basically 3 main types of emotional drains or vampires that you're going to run into out there. First up, we've got the chaos provoker. These people literally feel alive only when there's tension. They'll drop a disrespectful joke just to watch the vibe in the room shift. And if you react offensively, boom, you just rewarded them. It's exactly like a toddler realizing that mashing a button makes a loud noise. They are just going to keep mashing it. Then we have the energy sucker. You know the type. They complain endlessly, but they never actually want a solution. They aren't trying to fix their life. They just want to recycle their pain and create this emotional dependence that drags you down into their exhaustion. And finally, the validation seeker. For them, everything is a full-blown performance. You share a personal struggle, and within 2 minutes, they've somehow made it entirely about them. They quietly eat up massive amounts of your time, just endlessly fishing for approval.
So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this: your reaction is their reward. Without your emotional fuel, those little fires they start, they die out really quickly. If you give unlimited attention to these vampires, you are leaving yourself with literally nothing. Nothing for your own goals, nothing for your peace of mind, and nothing for the people in your life who actually matter. Your capacity is not infinite, you guys.
All right, Part 3, the Machiavellian shield. This is all about shifting from being reactive to being observant.
Just look at the difference in mindset here. On the left, we have the emotional prisoner. They absorb every ounce of tension in the room, and they're constantly bracing for emotional attacks wherever they go. They carry around what psychologists actually call emotional residue into every single interaction. Heavy, right? But then on the right, look at the disciplined mind. They've had this incredibly liberating realization. Not everyone deserves a response. It's that simple. They close mental doors. After a really stressful interaction, they actually reset themselves. They go for a walk, they read a book, they fiercely protect their recovery time so that all that negativity doesn't just harden inside of them. They observe people's behavior instead of just blindly listening to their words.
Now, to actually build this shield, you've got to become emotionally selective. And that means accepting a pretty hard truth. You cannot keep everybody comfortable and protect your own peace at the same time. It's impossible. You have to stop over-explaining your boundaries. Think about it. Healthy people respect boundaries. Manipulative people, they're going to get angry when you reduce their access, precisely because they were the ones benefiting from your unlimited energy. So let those weak, highly dependent relationships just naturally collapse. Protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's literally a matter of emotional survival.
Which brings us to part 4, guarding your gold. Let's look at the 6 laws of the gold guard.
Because, let's be real, awareness without discipline is kind of useless, right? So here is your actual arsenal. These are the 6 laws of the gold guard. They are simple, but they are incredibly powerful habits designed to keep difficult people completely out of your head. Let's walk through how to actually apply them in the real world.
First up, the 5-second delay. This is foundational. Most emotional damage happens simply because we react way too fast. At second 0, the insult or the trigger hits. Naturally, your emotional brain wants to snap back immediately to protect your pride. But here's the trick. From seconds 1 to 4, you do something incredibly powerful. You just breathe and observe. You intentionally interrupt that emotional momentum. By the time you hit second 5, you're able to make a calm, rational decision. And honestly, half the time you'll realize the comment isn't even worth your energy, or you'll see right through their sad little attempt to provoke you.
Next on the list is selective ignorance. This is the strategic choice to let meaningless criticism and passive-aggressive little jabs just naturally die. You're basically starving them of emotional participation. So when that relative makes a little stab at you over dinner and you hear it, you recognize exactly what they're trying to do, but you just move forward without reacting, man, it completely scrambles a toxic personality. They are fully expecting you to jump into the ring and fight them. When you just quietly remove the oxygen from that tension, their bad behavior completely loses its payoff.
Then we have Law 4, which is honestly one of my absolute favorites, the gray rock method. When you are forced to deal with someone who is constantly hunting for an emotional reaction, your goal is to become as plain, boring, and uninteresting as a literal gray rock. If they try to drag you into some workplace gossip, just give them the shortest, most neutral responses possible. Maybe. I don't know. Wow, that's unfortunate. Give them absolute 0 emotional fuel. Now, initially, they might actually push a little harder to get a rise out of you, but eventually, they're going to lose interest, simply because you are no longer a fun source of entertainment for them.
0. That is the exact amount of free emotional access or unlimited tolerance for toxic small talk that difficult people should have to your mind. And yes, that includes family. I know so many people feel totally trapped by toxic relatives because there's this weird societal rule that sharing DNA requires unlimited emotional tolerance, but it really doesn't. You can absolutely respect people from a physical distance while still completely protecting your own inner stability.
Ultimately, you've got to adopt what we call the price tag mindset. Look, your attention is not a public resource. It is highly expensive. It is your personal power. Whatever you consistently give your emotional energy to is slowly shaping your reality. If you pour it into drama, guess what? Your life becomes a drama. If you protect it and direct it toward peaceful goals, your inner world becomes clear, focused, and calm. You have to guard it like you would guard a vault of expensive gold. Stop handing it out for free to people who don't even value it.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to chew on today. Where exactly is your energy going right now? Take a hard look at your own daily habits. Are you giving away little pieces of your peace just to keep other people comfortable? Just remember, you don't need to respond to everything. You don't need to carry the weight of everyone else's mood. And you definitely do not need to give everyone VIP access to your emotional world. Guard your attention. Truly, it is the absolute most valuable thing you own.